The Madman!
Hey. If you're watching this video, don't tell Blizzard! Shh. So, some of the cards from Galakrond's Awakening may have gotten leaked. We don't know if these cards are real, so we're just going to present them. They may or may not be real. I mean, one of the cards in this leak happens to be a card that they revealed. And they use completely new art, and they're very reasonable, so they are cards that you would expect to see. But no, they might not be real. So we'll start with Alavil Infatigable, 4 mana 3/3 demon. Reduce the cost by 1 for each damage dealt to the enemy this turn. 0 mana 3/3 potentially. Wow. This is the type of card that you want to run in a deck that used to run Happy Ghoul, so basically Zoo. You want to have minions early in the game that can deal damage, because doing damage with spells and then playing this is not very efficient, unless you Soulfire on turn 1, then play 2 of these. That's like the ultimate high roll, but what are the chances that you don't discard this to Soulfire, right? You might be tempted to put this in Face Hunter immediately, but Steady Shot to discount this by 2 mana is not really that good. I think this is best used in a deck that plays something that can attack on turn 1. You play that on turn 1, you attack, and then you play a 2 mana 3/3. This is also famously good with the Galakrond weapon in Warrior. You play that on turn 2, you swing, and then you play out this card. So it might be good in aggressive Galakrond Warrior. One of the interesting things to note about this card is that it's a little bit similar to Dread Corsair if you have weapons. So you have to consider, is this card really that good if you only run weapons? Probably not. You really need to have minions that attack with it. But yeah, 0 mana 3/3, very spooky. Probably one of my spookiest cards of the set that I've seen so far. Next up, we have a neutral Loatheb, which isn't legendary. Pistolera Bravucona, 5 mana 5/5 Battlecry, enemy Battlecry cards, cost 5 more next turn. Cards, not just minions. So that affects their Galakronds as well. I think this looks like a tech card, but it seems like a card that's just overall good. There are so many cards with Battlecry right now, and perhaps that's especially so because so many of the Galakrond decks are top tier at the moment. Galakrond Rogue, almost all of their minions actually have Battlecry, and most of their deck is minions, so this is a really strong card to play against them. So I think it hits a lot of cards similar to Loatheb. In a way, it's better than Loatheb because it does not let your opponent play cards that could be considered just decent plays. Like, it locks out minion plays. Loatheb locked out spells, which is you wanted to make sure your board was protected. They couldn't answer with a fast card. But this card is more proactively good. You play it, and then sometimes your opponent is not able to match your minion with a minion play. Given the fact that you can play Pistolera Bravucona as 2-ofs, I expect this to be a decent card if there are a lot of Galakrond decks out there. You just play this in midrange decks. We have a Warrior 1 mana 1/3, Capitana de Riesgos. After you play a minion, deal 1 damage to all minions. Kind of like a Wild Pyromancer that triggers off of minion plays. On a well-stated 1 mana 1/3. Not that Warrior needed that because they had Eternium Rover and they had Town Crier already. So this card may be overkill. And also, do you really want your minions to deal your minions more damage when you play them? It's a little bit strange because Wild Pyro is good. You play spells and your Wild Pyro doesn't damage your other cards played because you're playing spells. Whereas Capitana deals damage to your own minions. Sure, you can have some benefits off that, but I think this is unnecessary. Cortacoptero, a hunter 3 mana 2/4 mech. Whenever a friendly mech dies, add a random mech to your hand. It's like Cultmaster, except 1 mana less, and the stat line is much better for a Cultmaster type effect because of 4 health. Harder to remove, and this is a key card to remove because you're probably playing a mech synergy deck. But again, mech synergy decks don't really want to trade, they want to go face. So, 2 mana rogue spell, Saramoncia. Discover a Battlecry minion, reduce its cost by 2. Nice. It's like Primordial Glyph, except it's for Battlecry minions. Not so nice when you do the comparison to Primordial Glyph is Glyph always gets you mage spells, of which there are a decent amount, Ceremontia gets you Battlecry minions, of which without the Rogue bonus offering, there are a decent amount of Battlecry minions that aren't great, but there are a number of minions that are really good, and Battlecry Discovers get you the 75th percentile of Battlecry minions on average. When it gets discounted as well, you might be able to play these on the cheap, which are good for your combo cards. Notable that you can't actually discover Edwin Van Cleef because it's a combo card, not a Battlecry card. But still, I feel like this card is going to see a deck slot in, at the very least, Highlander Rogue, but might be good enough to see 2 ofs in other Rogue decks. Warlock spell. 2 mana, Conocimiento Retorcido. Discover 2 Warlock cards. Seems like a great addition in Handlock. There are a lot of bad Warlock spells, but when it's 2 mana to get 2 cards, that's pretty sweet. And control Warlocks tend to be able to make use of bad Warlock spells. So even though it's a bit random, the Discover lets you get the top cards and should give you good enough to make up for the fact that it's random to an extent, but you're paying a discount on Arcane Intellect. Also, by the way, you can get the card itself. And finally, we have the Granazador, 5 mana 3/4 elemental with a battlecry of summon 2/1/1 icicles with freeze, which is to say that the icicles will freeze the minions when they deal combat damage or freeze the enemy hero. It's like a 5 mana 5/6 in terms of total stats. But ultimately, I think you just play Hench Clan Hag over this, which is a 4 mana 3/3 summon 2/1/1s. Sure, this has the extra health and the icicles have freeze, which is kind of a nice bonus, but I think ultimately doesn't matter that much. This is an elemental, which is also nice, but the other one had both of the things as everythings. They were amalgams. So thanks for watching this version of cards that may or may not appear in Galakrond's Awakening, depending on if these leaks are legitimate.